kind of cover what we did and some of why we did. Some recent users that actually old customers that I've had for many years who actually prefer sending content in the form of letters, like snail mail, the ability to print them off, put them in envelopes, stuff them, send them. While it does cost more, it's also kind of a different method because so many people use email and SMS that some people will enjoy getting letters. So one of the things that we wanted to do was be able to incorporate that inside of the system. So I'm going to go over what we've done and how to utilize that. Number one is what it comes down to is in our templates. A template itself in the past has been either email or SMS. Those were the only two options. Now, whenever you go in and you edit a message of some sort, you have email, you have SMS, and now you have letter. Whenever you click on letter, it looks pretty much the same as email, but it gives you the ability to make it bigger, broader, whatever. The advantage here is the ability to say, well, in my routine, I can choose either email, which may be just a little bit shorter. Emails are normally shorter than letters, where letters can still be short, but it gives you the ability to kind of offer three different formats. Your SMS is still very short. Your email can be a little bit broader, but your letter is typically much longer. In either case, they're all there and the ability to do that. We have incorporated additional fonts. So lots of other fonts that are now available that you can include whenever you go to print these. The challenge with fonts is that if you try to use them within emails, the people receiving that email has to have that font. So in the past, we've always limited it to certain email or certain fonts that everybody would have so that you don't receive something and it look totally weird whenever it's received. The other thing that we've incorporated is that in the add a photo piece right here, whenever you go to add a photo, we now have several different photo or image formats where you can, we did offer before, we offered the ability to upload an image. You can use a URL to a website image. Now you can also use our newsletter images where we've got, whenever you do a newsletter, it stores those images in different places. You can incorporate those, property photos, Pixabay, even AI generated if you have Gemini integration turned on, and then dub videos if you are doing dub. The limit there is dub wouldn't work on a letter necessarily, but it would work in your emails and stuff. So all of those are now available within the photo area whenever you're including photos. The real key here, though, is just being able to set up a template for a letter. Now, why would we need that? Like I said, the ability to send other things. Whenever you go and look at your templates now, you can see your email format, your SMS format, and then also your letter format, which may include other font colors, highlights, stuff like that, different signatures. You can do all of what you need to do there. Whenever you're in your contacts now, let's say we've got several people here. I'm just going to grab several contacts. You can now go to process selected, and in the process selected, we have the print mass letters. We did have the print mass email, send mass email, send mass SMS, We now have print mass letters. Whenever you do this, it will come up and let you choose from the available templates that have the letter format. So you can select it, you can do some searching and whatever you want. You can choose when you want to send them. So if you don't want to send them now, maybe I want to send them tomorrow at 2:00 p.m. And then I hit continue. It will take each of the selected contacts, take whatever document that you've specified in the letter template, and then it puts it into the print queue. We now have on the left-hand side a new item here for a little printer, which is the print queue below the outbox and inbox. Whenever you go into the print queue, it now shows you items just like you did for outbox. I did not put it into the outbox because there are extra things that need to be done, and it just kind of was going to get messy. So outbox and print queue are almost identical. It's just one is for sending messages, where this one is for printing messages. Whenever you come into a certain area, if you've got things that are due today, it will have a button up here that says, actually, let me go ahead and print some for today, just so that you see the difference here. So I'm going to grab a few more, say process, print mass letters. I'm going to choose a different one, and let's just put it for today at 5:00 p.m. just so they don't go into past due. Well, what happened then is if I go into my print queue, you'll see what things that are due today in the today section. Up here at the top, it'll tell you that you've got 3 items to print. I don't know what that extra character is there. Oh, I think it's for selection. So if I do select, I can select and get different numbers. Maybe it's doing that. I'm not sure. I need to look at that. In either case, if I have the selection turned off, the print today button just basically takes a look at each one of these. Now, whenever I look at these, you can see I can highlight them and it'll show you the template being used for each one of them. As I just click into them and see them. Whenever it's time to print them, I can click on print this. It will then say, hey, you've got 3 selected. In this case, it's for 3 for today. We need to generate the actual PDF from the template. So I can say generate and create the PDFs. If it's a routine that's generating it, it will go ahead and generate it and make it available so you can just print. These are simply because I've gone through and I told it to print off the fly and it didn't go ahead and make them yet. So if you have a color printer, it'll print in color. For very long letters, you have the ability to set up margins for your first page versus your secondary pages. So if you've got letterhead or something that you want to use, you could put those pieces in there for page 1. But it puts all the letters into one print job so that you just have to click print one time and it prints all your letters for you.
Oh, cool.
Once I print them, and I'm not going to click print right now, but if I did click print, then it comes back here and says, okay, do you want to mark all those as being printed? I can then say yes. If I want, I can mark those. So then it puts it down here into the printed in the past X number of days. You can specify those number of days. So that's available. I can come in here and say, well, maybe I want to print envelopes for these. So I can select those. I now have a print button up here at the top because I've selected, so I can print the selected items. But over here, I've got a envelope and a label option. So if I wanted to print labels, I can still click and print labels just like I did before.
Mm-hmm.
Choose what we want there. Or now I can go into and print envelopes. Whenever you go into print envelopes, it'll give you the option to choose, okay, what size envelopes do I want to use? And you can set up different sizes that you typically use and set them as default. You can also go in and print a different layout depending on what you've got. So maybe I've got, and I can go into edit the layout and I can actually change the layouts how I want them to look. So the return address area up here in the upper left, the return address or the mailing address in the middle. I can add other blocks and stuff if I want. Here's a different one for happy birthday, and I can edit the layout on this. I can see the preview on it, so I can see what it's going to look like as a sample. You can include images and all that kind of stuff in there. You can check, do the sizes and stuff. Basically, you choose what envelope you want to print. I'm just going to choose the default number 10 envelopes and choose print. So then it takes each of the names that's selected, and then it will generate a envelope for each one of them and then show them there with whatever you've got set up. Once you then print that as a PDF to your printer, then you've got your envelopes and your labels and your letters all in one area. You select that you've got them completed. One thing that it does do is anytime that you've chosen to print a letter, it'll obviously put the names of the people in there. I can also go to the contact records, and within the contact record, there is a print queue somewhere. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Print queue. In which case you can see what you've printed. I've printed this one a couple different times. And you can see the actual letter itself that was in the print queue. We do go ahead and also just put it in the files area so that you have access to it from files as well. And it's tagged as printed letter and print queue.
Cool.
So all of your letter printing, everything is all in one area, and gives you that ability to batch it together so that you can do them all in one fell swoop without having to export the information out to some other source or whatever.
Excellent. That's great. Now, from a like understanding from my end, thinking how we might use this, like, are you printing these letters off as like one-offs, maybe signing it and then like folding it and putting it in an envelope, or
Yes.
are you sending it off somewhere?
This is actually printing it locally and doing it yourself.
Okay.
That's what they're doing in the case of this particular users. They go in, they do whatever they want. Now, you could include a signature. That's the other thing, is you can set up signatures for your letters as well, just like you can set up a signature for an email or an SMS, in which case you could have like a signed your name in a signed format, script format, cursive, so that it looks like a regular signed letter or whatever as well. So technically you can just print it off with your signature on it and it would be there. But signing it is definitely better. It's more personal, and you can, typically tell whether it's been printed or not. So anyway, it's actually quite huge as far as the capability there. Whenever we go in and edit this, go into letter, say I want, I'm going to put in a signature there. Whenever I click on my signature, now we have SMS, email, and now we have letter. So you could put in different stuff. I think I was playing around with one for Don Pelletier, but maybe not. Maybe I got rid of it. But you can set up your own signature that's different than your email signature that gets included whenever it does its merge. It's pulling it from the email, the letter signature versus the email signature. The photo piece, basically each one of these image areas allow you to pick and choose from the server, which it can take a little time if you got a lot of photos. I've been doing that. I may do a few changes, but I've gone through and just added a bunch of photos at different times for different things, and being able to select them and put them into the system. So lots of change to this area. Just making sure that you have the tools available to do what you need within the system. So
cool. This is great. I think that this is going to be helpful for our folks that are wanting to print things. But then also, it's just I agree. There was a sentiment that I saw on social media that I think is kind of funny. In the world of AI and digital and social media, there's this uprising of analog. And I guess case in point would be for Christmas, I got a record player to try and stop scrolling social media so much. I went and found my old Game Boy and have been playing old Game Boy games. So there's this shift that's happening, and maybe it's just my generation, though I kind of feel like that's not necessarily the case. And gosh, we've been sharing the world-class client experience and the power of handwritten letters. I send a handwritten letter for each and every one of our customers. So not to say that this will replace that, though. That's really cool that it can do that.
Yeah, whenever you're the other thing is like, let me go to print queue. So you may, let me go back one here. So let's go to the routines for a second, say new lead. So I've got a new lead item here. The action itself is to send a message. You now have the ability to click the drop down, and you've got the letter option in the drop down. So as part of a routine which automatically generates it, it will go ahead, automatically generate the letter, put it into the print queue, so that then you can just print it real quick from the print queue with everything for the day, or whenever you're ready to do your print jobs. So that is all available. One thing that it doesn't currently do, which technically we could, is taking the documents and being able to send them to a remote printer, or at least a remote address, an IP address that automatically prints those letters for you. So instead of having to wait for you to get there, you could forward it. I don't currently do that. I was going to see if anybody really uses that, but your printers today, with them being hooked up to the internet and everything else, you can physically print to a printer that isn't at your desk. So it's just an IP address that needs to be emailed to, and then you can set up like an email address that it forwards it to, and then prints it for you automatically, and goes through that process. But in either case, you can choose right there. Whenever you choose your documents, it'll be able to pull from any of the options that you want, just like you could before. But then, that was with a person. You can do the exact same thing with a listing. So let's, for a new listing, I have actually, I think not new listing, let's say list date. There it is. So on the list date item, I have on listing date, I have send message. And on this one here, I've got a listing detail template, which I'm sending to a letter. So if I go and look at it, you can send it as an email where it's got tables and stuff like that, where it merges in your listing information. Now you can do the same thing with property and print it with any of your property information, your listing details, stuff like that, and be able to put them into the system. So there may be a few more things that I want to incorporate there, because we need to be able to incorporate the photos that that go with that listing, and I don't have that fully automated, but I plan to get that going as well. So ultimately, what happens then is whenever I do that, let me go to my print queue. I can do a search for listing detail, and then it prints this. So if I wanted to print that item again, boom, there it is. So it prints the layout and everything with whoever it's supposed to go to and from.
Cool.
So, and then if it's for a particular listing, you can go to the listing. It'll show you the listing detail, and then there's a print queue in here as well, so you can see what all was printed from the print queue about that particular listing or transaction or whatever. So it ties it all together. No cut, copy, paste.
Right. I think that's such a great little addition, right? And it just seems like that's the most logical, like your time is being sucked away at this like constant dragging, moving. And so what if your system was all in one place?
Absolutely. But that's what I've been working on. On the dashboard, there is also a print queue item on here. What needs to be done? Oh, there is also a how many stamps do you need? It tracks the number of stamps that you need to make sure that you've got. So for anything that's upcoming, so you know what you need to do. And I haven't tested it, but we did update the SAM chat. Let's see what it. Can I print letters? Actually, I'm in the wrong mode. It may be trying. Yes, you can print letters. Guide, learn, do this. Tell me how to print. Go to the Q letters. So contact list, select one or more contacts, use the menu action, choose letter template, when it's due, and open the print queue. To print the queue, go to the queue, goes through each of the different choices. There you go. So
cool.
Sam is aware of it and gives you the instructions on how to do it.